topic, which is trading as a profession. So I'm gonna call on the next moderator. I guess you already know who she is. So she has established her footing in the finance industry for more than 10 years, wherein she held various posts in asset management, fixed income, structured products trading, and forex. Currently, she is the associate director in a global commercial bank handling financial market sales. Prior to this, she was the head of corporate sales in Security Bank Corporation and derivatives and structured products chief dealer in BDO Private Bank. So Ms. Tony graduated with a master's in applied mathematics major in mathematical finance from the Ateneo de Manila University last 2008. She is a chartered financial analyst and a certified treasury professional. So ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Ms. Maritoni S. Bautista.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Favor naman, is it okay if you guys stand up? I know it is the wee hours of the afternoon. I totally understand, I totally get it, okay? Even though there's milk tea downstairs, cocoa, and black scoop, right? Tayo muna tayo, okay? Shake your hands, okay? Wave, okay? And then kalapitin nyo yung katabi nyo. Say hello. Do you guys know each other? Not really? You know what? You should take this opportunity to actually meet as much people as you can. Because are all of you seniors? No? Or how many are seniors? About to graduate? Juniors? So mas marami yung juniors? Or mga freshman ba? Sophomores mas marami. Okay, so later down the line, so you actually have a few more years before you graduate, correct? Okay? So, might as well meet as much people in this summit because later on, 2-3 years down the road, you will actually be meeting all of these people again in the workforce. Do I say a yes? Do I hear a yes? Yes? Okay, upo na tayo. Gising na ba? Gising na ba ng konti? Okay. Sinabi ng panelist ko, kailangan ko daw kayong gisingin. To make way for our last session for this afternoon. No? So, for this afternoon, our last session, we will be discussing trading as a profession. Okay. Are you guys aware of the term trading? Yes? Okay. Anong trading? Anong trading mantra? Sige nga, alam niyo yung trading mantra. What is the basic trading mantra? Have you heard of the phrase buying low and selling high? Yes? Okay, so essentially that is the basic trading mantra. And this afternoon, we are very much privileged that we actually have with us 3 of the most coveted traders in the banking industry today. So allow me to introduce each and every one of them. So the first one, okay, so we have Ricky Madatu. Ricky is currently head of fixed income in PruLife UK Asset Management and Trust Company, spearheading the establishment of the insurance company's trust business. So previously, Ricky is the head of credit trading in Metro Bank, handling both sovereign and corporate credits. Before moving to Metro Bank, he was actually fixed income and multi-asset trader and fund manager at ATR Kim Eng Asset Management. So ka-work niya before si Sandra. You guys remember Sandra from portfolio management earlier. Okay. And then he is also a frequent lecturer in the seminars organized by the Money Market Association of the Philippines, focusing on fixed income portfolio management. Ricky graduated from the Ateneo de Manila University with a degree in development studies, and Ricky is also a CFA charter holder. So ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Ricky Madatu. Okay. Our second speaker, our second panelist, is Mon Seong Lau. She is currently Vice President for Interest Rates and Derivatives Trading in HSBC Philippines, one of the top foreign banks in the country. She received her Bachelor of Science degree and Master's degree in the same course as mine, Applied Mathematics major in Mathematical Finance from the Ateneo de Manila University. After graduating from the university, she actually started her work journey as a Jesuit volunteer in northern Samar for almost 2 years before eventually joining the corporate world. She has since grown into her trading role, which is her current position. So Monse became a CFA charter holder in 2015. Okay, so let's all welcome Monse. And lastly, we have with us Moj Musico. He has more than a decade experience in banking. He has held various posts related to treasury, namely in operations, marketing, and trading. He is currently a trader in Citi BC Bank Philippines Corp, focusing on fixed income and currencies. He graduated with a degree in AB Economics from the Ateneo de Manila University and has been a CFA charter holder since 2013. So let's all welcome Moj. Okay. So, medyo napansin ko lahat kami Atenista, pero hindi lang nagkataon, okay? Nagkataon lang siya pala, hindi namin sinadya. Okay. So, I'll sit with them. Okay. So, if you have any questions, feel free to use the app. Later on, I will be choosing some of the questions if you have any. And then I will be posting these questions to our panelists as well. Okay. So, maybe to start off, Moj, Monse, and Ricky, I just wanted to for you guys to explain to our students, our participants, in the simplest way possible. Because earlier, may mga jargons tayong naririnig, di ba? In the simplest way possible, what your role as a trader entails, okay, in your current day jobs.
All right. Simplest way possible really is, as a trader, you are expected to make money. To really get returns from the capital that is entrusted with you. So in my case, it's sa banking industry. I'm currently, I was, as of last week, I just moved to a different institution. I was trading corporate and sovereign credit. So these are the bonds of Philippine sovereigns, Indonesia, Vietnam, what have you. So using the mantra, buy low,
and sell high.
Sometimes you don't get it right. A lot of times, actually. So yeah, it's really risk-taking. You're risking the capital of the bank, or if you're in trust, you're risking the fiduciary assets that are entrusted with you. So yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, Monse.
Hi, everyone. Parang may tulog pa rin to.
Kaya nga eh.
Kalahati. Tsaka nakakasilaw pala dito, so hindi namin kayo makita. Okay lang. Actually, to be honest with you, when I was, I guess, a college student and everyone in my course wanted to join Treasury, it was difficult to imagine what they would do. But if you have watched Wolf of Wall Street, it is kind of something like that. You have noisy broker boxes who shout prices because, I guess, to supplement what was earlier said, what we do is we try to buy and sell financial instruments. So I guess the way I would explain it is, if for example, you had to buy dollars because you needed to have dollars when you go abroad, you go to a bank and ask for a price, right? Where would that price come from? It would come from us. So we are the providers of buying and selling prices for products that you'd buy from a bank, including foreign exchange or bonds or derivatives like swaps, which we can discuss later if you want. But essentially, we are market makers because we provide a market, meaning a buying and a selling price for financial instruments. So that is our main role in the current day-to-day trading profession. That's the easiest way I can look at it.
Moj,
Yeah,
anything to add?
actually, just to add, I'm just going to tie it up with the earlier panel. So basically, you have the research analyst that will provide you with research on what to do and how to act. So I guess our role as traders is that we are the ones that, act on the recommendations from the research team. So that's it. And just to add to what they said, that's pretty much what we do.
Okay. So, just to summarize, it's really to make money. It's really to make money for the institution which has hired us. Okay. So I think most of our students here would be quite curious, know what a typical day is like for a trader, right? Because from college, what we do is that we just go to school and then we attend classes, right? So once we get into the workforce and then we decide that we want to become a trader, what would be what should we brace ourselves for? No, when we enter the office, what are we expected to do? So what would be a typical day like for you guys?
All right,
Ricky.
I'll start. Typical day, so a lot of times, the market that we are looking at is very much affected with what's happening uh, earlier that day. So New York closed. So what happened, if there's anything, any news, any data that comes out by around 6:30 or 7 a.m., I should be reading it already. I should be gathering all this information so that I would be ready when I get into the office to look at my positions. At the same time, what will I do with my positions given this new information? So yan, pasok ka 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning, open your Bloomberg. So if you're a trader, you'll be facing a lot of screens. Uh, Sometimes four, sometimes six. I'm not sure with you guys. So, and you'll be talking with a lot of phone lines. For example, in my case, I have six, six phones ready to be answered, or six boxes wherein you'll be getting information from brokers or from other traders where the prices are, what's happening, if there's something that's getting sold or getting lifted or getting bought in the market. So basically, yeah, yun yung start of the scenario. You have this data, this new information, and you try to prepare yourself with what's going to happen to the prices or to the positions that you have. So that's I think, easier for us. So that's the morning part. Maybe you could talk about midday. Yeah, ikaw naman midday.
Midday si
Tony, akala ko
Monse.
maaga na kaming late na papasok sa office, pero pag trader ka pala, 7 a.m. nasa office ka na rin. So parang estudyante ka pa
Unfortunately,
rin.
no?
Unfortunately.
Yes.
And you still study in the morning, everything that happened overnight.
Yes.
And I think this is the blindest I've ever been in my life, because I also have 6 screens like you and many broker boxes. So as he said, we come in early and then we study the markets, and because I cover Philippine markets, it will open at 9 in the morning. But we come a little earlier, 7:30, to prepare. And then throughout the whole day, from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock, you sit on the desk and you provide buying and selling prices for clients and for other dealers. So it is constantly looking at the Bloomberg screen, looking at new news that come out and new information that come out. If you ask, we actually have a very long lunch break from
Yes, we do.
12 to 2 p.m. It's a 2-hour lunch break. But I'm not sure how most banks do it. We usually have a trader of the day who stays on the desk and cannot leave the desk for lunch. So essentially, you watch the markets over lunch, and you're there to provide buying and selling prices again for whoever needs it from 12 to 2. So that's most of our day. We are on the desk from 9 to 4, and for me in particular, I'm unable to leave the desk and even go to the bathroom
Sometimes.
because you have to sit on the desk and look at everything that moves. I'm not sure how to describe it, but if you can imagine, there are maybe 30 banks and so many financial institutions in the market, and each of these will be asking you for a price. Salespeople will be asking you for a price. So you are on chat the whole day, and you are on the phone the whole day providing prices for these people who want to invest or sell their securities. So you can
So
do that
end day.
Okay.
post-trading.
Post-trading.
I'll round out the day for the trader. So normally, end of day for trading would be to quote unquote close your books. So you have to check what your ending inventory. So that's one. You have to prepare end of day reports. So those would be profit and loss for the day. So hopefully, as they said earlier, hopefully we made money for the day. And aside from that, you have to, well, check and prepare end-of-day market updates to say that, well, what happened for the day so that it will be used, say if you're a global institution, it can be used by your counterparts in the different parts of the world. So that's it. Normally, if you're lucky enough, you can get home at around 5:30 or 6, but sometimes if there are things that happen that you would have to manage your portfolio or your position, you might have to stay a little bit late. So, but in the Philippine markets, normally it closes around 4 o'clock. So that's a typical day for us.
So essentially, from what I gathered, okay, because I was a trader also before in my past life, but I decided to go to sales because I cannot stomach watching Bloomberg at night and waiting for data. Okay, so typically, from what I gathered from the responses of Ricky Monse and Mooj, is that being a trader, of course, it would entail a lot of sacrifice as well. However, what's good about it is you see the dynamics of the market. So it's exciting,
So
right?
maybe I could add. So you might have this notion that it's a desk job.
Yeah.
You're just facing computers. But when you're in trading, it's unlike any other desk job because it's constantly changing. Every new information is something that you could pounce on or something you could use to your advantage. It's unlike other desk jobs in the sense also that you have full discretion on what you're doing. Imagine you have this type of budget, let's say, 100, 200 million to play with. And it's really up to you what you want to do with it. So meaning it's really up to your thought process, the way you want to risk it, what product you would want to use, which side are you going to take. So in a sense, you're in control. It's on your desk, you're speaking to a lot of people, but in a way, you're not allowed to really snooze at any part of the day. That keeps it exciting, and at the same time, you get to talk to a lot of people. It's not as if that you're solitary you may be solitary in your space, in your desk, but you're actually speaking to 50 to 100 people asking for prices or getting views. You could talk to other traders and ask what they're doing, what they think of this price, what they think of this bond, what they think of this market, what they think of this news. So in that sense, it's unlike any other desk job, I would say.
So maybe to take off from what Ricky mentioned, I wanted to ask as well, what do you find fulfilling in what you currently do as traders? Monse?
So I find the job really fulfilling, I guess to add to what Ricky said, is because it is very intellectually challenging and it is very heart-pounding. So I didn't have the ability to become an athlete. And then I realized I wanted to be a surgeon very late in the game. And the next best thing, I think, is becoming a trader. It is, as he said, a very, very exciting job. It is the noisiest part of the bank because you have people shouting prices the whole day long, or maybe sales and trading shouting at each other to get a better price. It is a very exciting job, and that part, I find that very fulfilling because I hate to admit it, but I was very much a nerd when I was in college, and being in a job like this, I have been able to use that well because now information is free for everyone to see. So I guess the challenge is how you look at that information and decide what you want to do. As he said, whether you want to buy or sell, in what security or in what asset class you want to do it. So that part I find very fulfilling. And I also like it because it is fair game. It does not matter whether you come from a very good institution where you studied college or whatever your background is. It is fair game because as long as you have your idea on and it works and you make money from it, then that's very good. So my boss would always say there is no monopoly of good ideas. Whether you are a junior trader, a senior trader who's been there for 20 years, if you have a good idea, you put it on and you make money from it, um, that's very good. And the other thing I learned is it makes you mature a lot faster than in other jobs, because even as a junior trader, you are given the appetite to take risk, and you have, say, my boss would describe it as having a nuclear bomb in your hands, because if you drop that, everything can collapse and you can actually lose money for the bank. So that part I like about being a trader.
We actually are getting a few questions from the students. So, Mooj, maybe for you. Do you remember your best trade ever? And what was the worst trade? And any lessons which you actually learned, particularly from the worst trade?
That's hard. Sometimes as trader, you have to have short-term memory. I think that's number one. So, good
Probably
trades.
the good trade na
Yeah,
lang.
a good trade. I think I've had a few naman din throughout the years. Sometimes it's really just. Sometimes it's a team effort. I won't. As Monty said, it's really no one has the monopoly on idea. So I could say there was one sometimes an issuance, for example, wherein everybody in the team was sold on the name. It was fairly new, so we were able to get a good size of the issuance. I won't name, it's a local corporate, and there we were able to get a good size, and then true enough, people saw value in the name, and the price appreciated in just a few days, and we were able to make good amount of money. That was it. Bad trades, you would have a lot actually. That's one thing that you have to learn as a trader, is that you will never get everything right. So of course you're gonna have bad trades, but what you have to do, what you have to learn to do is that the good trades have to be, well, at least more than the bad trades. So I've had a number of bad trades. Actually, that's one of the hardest things to do as a trader, is to cut losses and take a hit. And I've had some. I mean, we've had the Asian financial crisis, the global financial crisis.
Ano pa
where-
sila nun? Grade school?
Oo nga eh, yeah.
Grade
Ako
school?
rin, ako rin.
2008, where were you? Grade school?
Hindi yung Asian.
High school naman.
Yung global
Okay.
financial crisis,
Okay.
ayun. So yun there, where prices were really falling, that's it. At a certain point, you have to decide that, okay, this is enough. You have to cut losses, which is the hardest thing to do, but it's part of being a trader. You have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
That's it.
One thing that I actually learned also in my past life is that in being a trader, it's not just because of the rush. You also need to be disciplined as well. No? So another question from the floor would be, it's actually quite related to what Mooj discussed. No? How do you time your trades, entry and exit? It's quite relevant as well, because I know that some students, they're actually traders already. You guys can open like an equity account in COL, for example, right? With your allowance, is that correct? So essentially, some of our students are already doing stock trading themselves. No? So it's quite interesting as well to hear your thoughts on tips on how they can time entry and exit for their trades. Ricky, round robin lang tayo.
Okay, I'm not really a fan of timing trades.
Okay.
For me, it's really on the price. If you are comfortable with the price and you know that this is you find it cheap. For example, if you're looking to buy a stock, if you find this cheap, or you think that even though it's expensive, it could get more expensive, then that's when you buy the trade. A lot of times, especially with the junior guys that I'm dealing with, a lot of times they try to, in a way, make it all perfect. They try to make the environment, or they try to make the situation, okay, this is the perfect timing. There's no such thing. A lot of times when I see them go through that exercise, is it time to buy? Is it time to sell? They stress themselves out, number one. Sometimes the stress causes them to make irrational moves in terms of their size, the amount of bonds that they're going to buy, the direction. They try, sometimes when you're timing the market, you try to confirm the information that you already have now with the information that's available, and that's when you get blindsided. Na, kasi pwede ka naman mali eh in that situation. But again, this is a game of uh, getting more wins than your losses, kasi you will have losses. But yun, timing is not something that I would advise. Yeah, you could do that technical analysis, but in the long run, it's not going to work out. I would say, I would dare say, if you're just look at the price, look at the value that you're trying to capture, and look at the direction that you want to take. And again, you set your stop loss, you set your take profit levels, and you learn from every trade. So yeah, don't time the market.
Okay, so one more question from the audience. From Dane Pixon. I'm curious as well. Do you still journal? Do you still keep like a blotter or a record of your trades given the size and the frequency of your trades, execution, market sentiment? Do you still do that, Nona?
Yes.
Ah, yes, you still do. So quite traditional even though.
But not the blotter part because
Yeah.
it's very automatic. I mean, you put in a trade and it's in the system already. But the part where you document your thought and what you want to do, where you would want to stop out and take profit, that part I still do because your mind can do funny things. Like you'll remember something from the past thinking it was a very great idea of yours and probably it's all muddled. Writing it down helps you remember clearly why you wanted to do something, where you wanted to enter, and how you wanted to stop out. And I guess it's like journaling in real life helps you recollect things from the past without a lot of bias. So you're able to look at it well.
Okay, one more. Okay, from the audience as well. Surprise questions for you guys. Okay.
May prepared questions kami
Yeah,
actually.
because we had prepared questions, but
Okay,
I see
go
a
ahead.
lot of
Dapat
questions
kami.
from the audience. So I'm trying to ask as much as I can. Okay. Like for example, this one. Okay. Like for your when you started working, okay. Did you get the trading job right away, or no?
Can I answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ikaw,
Okay.
Mooch.
Okay. No, actually, I kind of stumbled into it. I really didn't know. I mean, I envy you guys that you're here, getting a good picture of the different career options that you could have in the future. I did not have one. So I started my career. I walked around Makati, passing my resume.
I did that also.
And funny thing, the banks are always the quickest ones to call. So a bank called. I didn't know what department I was going to be in. So I asked my mom then. My mom, so mom, what's a good department? And she said treasury. So okay, I said treasury to the HR. I went into treasury. I was able to be interviewed by my would-be boss. It was a trading job. So he actually explained to me the job. He said, this is what we do. So I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. I was actually thinking, okay, it's kind of like the ones that I see in the movie. So first day, I reported. I thought I was going to be reporting in the trading desk, but no, I actually went to the sales desk, the marketing desk. So it was nice, actually. I stayed there for a year, and I was transferred to the trading desk soon after. So it was actually a good experience.
Because they have a question like, what entry-level job is the perfect stepping stone to a trading designation?
Okay.
Yeah, Ricky.
Go, Ricky.
All right. Stepping stone.
Yeah.
When I started, I was actually in marketing.
So same with Mooj.
Same in Moose.
Sales also.
But it's very different.
Yeah.
No, not treasury.
Not treasury, marketing at
10 years ago, you saw the booths on the other side.
the what?
The booths.
Okay.
Yung mga stands na ganyan. So, my job was to make marketing collaterals. I was designing Photoshop, that kind of stuff. So my point is, there's no perfect stepping stone. I was in a actually the first accounting entry that I saw was in a CFA book. No math, I had no math background nung college. So if you're not in a finance course here, you could still get in a trading job. Don't worry. My boss, kwento ko lang, Don D. Santillan, one of the best traders sa UBS before. Ang course niya was philosophy. So you could imagine, it's not necessary that you have a finance background to get into trading. A lot of times when I do interviews, the things that I look for is proactiveness, aggressiveness, not in the like very, you have to be really like masculine, like para awu awu awu, 300 type na masculinity. It's really yung aggressiveness and sharpness in terms of making decisions. If you're the type na pupunta ka sa interview, tip ko lang sa mga gusto mag-traders, if you're the type na pupunta ka sa interview, you're very safe with your answers, you're very, in a sense, there's no decision making. Kasi that's what's required eh. When you're faced with a situation, you have to make quick decisions. So in that sense, it's really the attitude, the risk-taking attitude that's very much important when you're trying to get into a trading role. Of course, there's value to having a CFA, studying through several math classes in college to get to know the nitty-gritty of the financial products that you want to trade. But it's really the attitude and really the risk-taking approach that you would want. And a lot of it is really discipline at the end of the day.
Actually, you're right, Ricky. My boss took political science. I have a lot of trader friends who came from some sort of engineering background, civil engineering, chemical engineering. I guess I was just lucky enough, I came from a finance background. But I think, just to add to what he said, discipline, someone who can have some sort of aggressiveness. One of the other things that we look at, I guess, is if you're a team player, because you do work with a team and you have to be able to share your ideas with a team. I myself, personality-wise, was a very shy person. I was a very shy person growing up. But I think I grew into the role because there was natural competitiveness inside me. One of the things, you'd be surprised, the thing they asked me when they interviewed me was, will you cry if I shout at you? And of course, because I didn't want to show that I was not very masculine, I said, of course not, I will not cry. But then when something bad happens, after a very bad trading day, I'll cry while driving home. So it toughened me up a lot, I think. But I guess to be a trader, you just have to be willing to learn it, to study it, to make mistakes, to accept it, and just try it over and over again. I've been doing this for 6 years, and there's always something new that you can look at and trade again the next day.
I have an interesting one here, but probably related to what you guys discussed already. Because you know that the markets are kind of unpredictable. So be it stocks, be it FX, be it fixed income. Any advice on how to cope with the unpredictability of the markets which we are dealing with now? Napupunta sa'yo mood yung mahirap. Sorry.
Okay, I'll answer this
Round
one.
robin.
Okay. I guess for me, a skill I value very high for traders is that, you have to really master your emotion. It's one thing to be sharp. It's one thing to know the math, the financial analysis or fundamental analysis, technical analysis. That's one thing. But as you said, it's very dynamic. It's always changing. So you have to master your emotion. You can't be on a high if you win, if you make a lot of money, or you can't be too down if you lose money, or be angry or be sad. Because at the end of the day, it's always, you have to always look forward. Okay, today I made money. Okay, I can be happy for a bit, but I have to focus again on what's to come tomorrow. Or inversely, if today I lose money, okay, maybe I can be sad for a little bit, but I have to look forward again and see that, well, tomorrow I'm gonna make it back and probably do more. So I think that's it. You have to really be in check. That's it, I think.
I have another one here, probably also for you, Muj, because you came from a sales role, right? So there was one question here. Is a trader role suitable for someone coming from sales or account management, for example, especially if they desire like a career shift? Won't there be any mismatch on the required skills? If none, what are the skills needed that are common between the two?
Not at all, actually. I think it's a good training because if you do sales or account management, for example, you're used to dealing with a lot of people. It's the same thing with trading. You get to talk to a lot of people. So you get to talk to fellow traders, you get to talk to clients, you get to talk to institutions. So actually, it's a good stepping stone, if you ask me.
Okay. Probably a couple more questions. Okay, before we close our session. Can you share any advice to our students on how they can become traders or with day traders in the near future, 2 to 3 years to be exact, because most of them are sophomores. Okay. Maybe we'll do this one round, Ricky. Advice.
Okay, very practical. Get into a management trainee of a bank, I would say. So if you're applying for the different financial institutions, get into a management trainee program. Try to dig deep to what type of training program it is. So, some of the training programs are really treasury related or financial markets concentrated. So once you're in a management trainee program, that's where you try to get into the desk, the treasury desk. For example, with my previous institution, a lot of the traders came out from the training program. And it's really, when it comes to us, the hiring managers, a lot of times it boils down to their desire to learn, especially if you're a fresh grad. The trading skills won't be as obvious. A lot of times, the risk-taking gene, if you will, comes out once you're in the field. For example, I have this a junior trader, kwento ko lang, very very nerdy. Not book nerdy, but basta is funny. Funny nerd siya. Very soft-spoken guy. Not so aggressive, unlike me siguro sa trading floor. Kaya I always joke him around. But at the start, he was really just busy with writing reports. He's very good at writing reports, just answering the phone, trying to get the code sheets in order, the Excel files, everything. Not so trader-like in that sense. So, yung first few months niya, parang nagsisisi ako na siya kinuha ko eh. But as he grew into the role, the type of analysis that he makes is very unique, very portfolio management type nga yung sense niya. So, again, yung trading skills is not so obvious at the start, but I think yun yung pinaka-practical na advice ko is to get into a management trading program and try to see where you're fit at the financial markets sector.
Monse?
So I hated reading the newspaper when I was in college, to be honest. But I realized that when you go into this kind of job, you eventually have to do it. You have to get used to reading a lot of things because information is out there for you to read and digest and earn money from. So I guess that part of it is sacrifice and self-discipline as well, because there are some things that you have to learn to do, like the coming in early, or staying up at night because the markets are open at night. That is one of the things. I also started as a management trainee, and actually Tony in sales. So it is a good starting point, but then I realized maybe the trading role is a better fit for me because I'm not a very chatty person to begin with. And trading allows you to put ideas into action. So I guess that's the other thing. You want to try to read about it, research about it, learn about it, but at some point you actually have to do it. I started out as a very shaky trader as well. I would actually shake whenever I'd press the box because I was very worried that I'd lose money. And eventually grew into it and realized that there's nothing to be afraid of, even loss and failure. It's part and parcel of what we do. You just have to try and minimize it as much as you can. So my advice while still in college, try to read a lot and try to actually do it if you have some small capital to do it with, so just you get the feel of it. And more importantly, try to realize if you're having fun with it, then maybe it's something you'd want to do. Because I guess we do this job because we have fun with doing it. Yep.
Mooj?
Okay. My advice really is there. Of course, study, build up on the basics. So that's it. And aside from that, I guess trading is sort of it's a game. So it's competition. So as students, I guess I would also encourage you to find another, say, outlet that you could compete it. Like, say, be it sports, be it computer games or whatever. Because just to get the competitive juices flowing, because it's sort of like trading. It's a game that you win, you lose. So if you have a good background on competition, I guess that's a good, I guess, training for if you want to be a trader in the future.
Just want to add,
Okay.
Ako rin pala. I
may,
just wanna-
may delineation sa trading room eh. It just dawned on me. Siguro, a big portion are athletes. So if you're into competitive sports, trading, I think is definitely for you. It's very similar, the thought processes that are in. I was in sports before. Hindi halata. I was playing volleyball sa UAAP before, sa Ateneo, before I got injured. But, I mean, it's the game eh. Para, for example, when you're down 5, 10 points, yung thought process mo of taking risks in the plays that you're making, it's very similar sa trading. Now, that's the first half siguro. Second half are gamers, I would say. Everyone has this huge gaming computer, especially the guys at home. A lot of times, yung mga conversations namin are very much sa the latest games na mabibili namin that we could play online together. So if we're not trading, we're actually playing games, computer games.
Totally agree.
So, di ba? I mean, a lot of the traders. So, you could see the thought processes that are present in both scenarios. And I think, not that I'm saying na play games now. So,
Aral
balance
muna.
din.
Balance.
Balance din.
Balance.
Or focus on sports. But these things, these skills will be something that you could carry. Actually, sa mga interviews, tinatanong yan. So, are you part of a competitive,
Yeah, correct.
competitive sports? Di ba?
Tinatanong yun sa interviews talaga, are you part of an organization? Are you part of a team, for example?
So what was your role? How did you go about it? Like for example, I'm very used to someone shouting at me kasi sa sports, syempre, every detail tinitingnan yan ng coach, di ba? So I guess that's why I felt at home sa trading floor kasi everyone was shouting at me. So yeah.
Because they have to gauge how you are under a stressful,
stressful
situation,
scenario.
how you will respond, if you can cope with it. That's because even in our institution, my very big boss was a basketball coach and a basketball player once in his life, and it's part of the questions they ask is how you cope with these things. I am not a basketball player, but I guess part of my background was dealing with. So Tony said I was a volunteer at some point in my life. So some part of your life was, I guess, challenging, and where you had to undergo some stress and how you responded to it. That's I guess what's important. So whatever your background is, I just say part of it is how you deal with life, I guess.
Okay, so I will end our session with Tito Boy Abunda's Fast Talk. So, hiniram ko muna, Tito Boy Abunda's Fast Talk, okay? Okay, so, quiet or volatile markets, Ricky?
Volatile.
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 Okay. Risk on, risk off.
Any?
Risk off kasi bonds ako.
Risk off ka?
Risk on ako.
Risk on ka, okay. English or math?
English.
Math.
English.
Bloomberg or Netflix?
Netflix.
Bloomberg.
Bloomberg.
Ano tayo, contrarian.
Bloomberg? Talaga? Okay. Fundamental or technical analysis?
I'll be a fundamental guy.
Fundamental.
Fundamental.
Oh, really? Okay.
So,
Oh, really
mga
ako.
traders
Because
na
they're
wala.
traders eh, di ba? Parang
Most,
might...
parang, kasi yung, siguro preconception was, traders are very technical.
Yeah.
But looking at the market, a lot of guys that I'm dealing with are very fundamental.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Favorite asset class?
Fixed income.
Fixed income.
Fixed income.
Wow, okay. Top 3 traits of a good trader? 3. 3 words lang.
Prayerful. Honest,
Okay.
passionate, and humble.
Monsen.
Consistent because it is a marathon, not a sprint. You have to be disciplined and passionate also.
Moods?
Quick, consistent, and a team player.
Okay. So, and with that, we would like to end our session. Thank you very much to Ricky, Monse, and Mooj.